Hello, Steven.
Dean Squires, how are you?
Good to see you.
Thank you for taking time to walk and talk
Looking forward to it.
and be subjected to this interrogation.
I signed up for it.
Let's talk a little bit about innovation, creativity, engineering, and perhaps intersections with arts and designs. I did a study about double majors 10 years ago, and we found in that study that engineers who double majored in a art or design discipline actually had better career outcomes in terms of income.
Right.
There's also been studies that show that engineers and scientists who have high rates of patents, successful patents, also have some background in music or art. Does that ring true to you?
I think it does, and I think some of it comes back, to what we were speaking about. That is, it opens your mind, and the more experiences that you have, and the more opportunities you get to do something, and I mean this in the sense of practicing.
Right.
By practicing something, you become skilled at it, and that variety of experiences informs your thinking.
So speaking of this intersection of art, design, and engineering, we've got a couple things we do together. We've got actually a co-branded school called the School of Art, Media, and Engineering.
Yep.
We have 3 or 4 joint faculty appointments. Why are you playing in that sandbox with us?
I think, it's fundamentally the intersection of technology, engineering, computer science, and so forth with the arts. And, among the opportunities are, you're causing collisions of faculty, of students, and of ideas. And frankly, that's how you do accelerate a lot of progress. Now, there's faculty around the country and at ASU who also engage in the arts, but in a very focused way. We really do have an opportunity to do things at ASU's favorite word, at scale.
We're going to do like a little glossary game.
All right.
Because I think some of the most creative areas that your school and faculty are working in sometimes aren't legible.
Right.
Okay, so we'll start with your own field, computational fluid dynamics. So
Right.
if you had to explain that to a fifth grader
Right.
in a sentence, what is computational fluid dynamics?
It's using a computer to do a simulation of the flow of a fluid, air, water, around or within an object.
And why do we need to understand how fluids flow in, around objects?
So ultimately, it's going to be connected to improving the design of some device, lowering the drag on an airplane wing,
Okay.
improving the efficiency of an internal combustion engine. On and on and on. You can find many, many examples where computational fluid dynamics is part of the design process.
Okay. How about cognitive ubiquitous computing?
So cubic, another center.
Okay.
And in this particular case, it's the merger, if you will, of human and computer. That is, humans interacting with computers that might be part of a rehabilitative strategy for somebody recovering from a stroke.
Okay.
Okay, how do you use technology and computation to improve their rehabilitation? Ubiquitous, because again, essentially computing is ultimately everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's a project that I know faculty in the School of Art, Media, and Engineering have worked on around rehabilitation, a dancer working with a computer scientist to build devices so that people can rehabilitate using sound to know when they're moving in the right direction.
Exactly. I mean, that's a great example. And again, the technology can be such an enabler
Right.
to those sorts of problems.
Okay, so I know that you think about zombies.
I do. Big fan of The Walking Dead.
And I was just thinking to myself that if we had, Halloween is coming up.
It is.
So if we had like a Dean's Challenge, a sort of a costume battle off between your faculty and our faculty, or your students and our students, who would win, and what would be the general difference between your costumes and our costumes?
That is a great question. So let's see. I think in the zombie, you would find a lot of zombies who would unfortunately look like what I'm wearing today. It's what we call the engineering uniform. So I'm not sure if you could tell who's a zombie and who
Who's
isn't.
an engineer?
Okay, so that would maybe be a competitive advantage, right?
Yes.
And it would perhaps make our engineering faculty adept at recognizing who's on their team.
I suspect your costumes might be slightly more technologically enabled?
So we would basically be taking advantage of wearable devices,
Yes.
right? Instrumenting, you know.
So that's another area that you have folks in your school.
We do, and that's you know, hugely important. Whether you're talking about, again, rehabilitation or human performance, and the interaction there with the arts is off the charts.
So if you had to choose, you could wear a smart shirt, smart pants, smart tie, or smart shoes. What would be your first smart item to wear?
Smart shoes.
Smart shoes.
Yeah, smart
Okay.
shoes. Deans are on their feet a lot. We need good shoes.
Excellent. All right, so I'm going to ask this last question, which you may have to reconfigure to make sense for you. How do you want to use your creativity to change the world?
You start with your place, okay? And we think about that a lot in the Fulton Schools. We have an opportunity in the Valley. Change the Valley, change the state, change the region, and do that by, you know, the students we produce, you know, the ideas that we generate, and that's opens up tons of opportunities to be very creative in how we do that, okay? If we get it right, we'll leapfrog the communities that are ahead of us.
We've got to set the table for that to happen.
Yep.
Kyle, thank you for taking time.
Thank you.
Happy Friday.
It was fun.
All right. Bye.
All right.